Hi, welcome to my weekly live stream show, Co-Design Work with Wonder. I'm June Bayha, CEO of Bayha Group, and today we're going to be celebrating our special client, Downey Unified School District, and I have a special guest, John Harris, who's going to join me, and I'm going to bring John on. Hi, John.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. Doing great.
So we're super excited to have you here for a number of reasons. One, we have our co-designer interns who are all students of Downey Unified School District. And so we have interns who are running the live stream show, and they're going to be asking us questions during our session together.
Great.
So first, I'm going to ask you, please tell us a little bit about yourself, John.
Well, I am the Director of College and Career Readiness. It's a new department here at the district that I've been tasked to build, along with a number of other staff members that were with me in the secondary education department. Previous to that, I was the principal of one of our two comprehensive high schools in the district, and so having been around a while, it kind of gives you the ability to kind of build a team of highly effective people, and that's what we're doing in the College and Career Readiness Department.
All right. So we have actually some news to share with everyone, because earlier this month, we found out some pretty exciting news. So we've been working together I've been working with Downey Unified for 5 years. And recently we applied for 3 K-12 Strong Workforce grants. And we found out, John, on Monday during Thanksgiving break. So please share with everyone, what did we find out?
Well, we found out that we were given significant awards in all 3 areas, all 3 grant proposals from the state, totaling somewhere around $5.2 million.
Which we were amazed. I mean, it's one thing to apply for 3, it's another to get the 3. And it's super exciting because of the work. So for me, I have to say, John, and we've talked about this many times, that Downey's my unicorn client. It's I have worked in education for many, many years, and to be able to work with a community who loves and cares about young people in a way that is really authentic is such a gift. And it's amazing to be able to also see the good work everybody's committed to doing. So I just want to thank you and for this opportunity, because it's been such a dream to be able to collaborate and work closely. We see each other on Zoom every week.
Every day.
It feels like we're just a member of the team, and it's pretty special.
Well, you certainly are a member of the team. In fact, I oftentimes remind people that not all consultants are created equal, and we are certainly interested in partnering with and working with super consultants, and you're certainly in that category. You are our unicorn consultant, just like you view us as a unicorn client. So it's really a pretty perfect match. And a lot of that, I think, comes from a very common commitment to young people and students within the district, and not only just within the Downey Unified District, in high school students up and down the state that can benefit from some of the things that we are learning and building for the students here in Downey that can be used in other school districts as well.
We also have interns who are watching us live, and I know they have questions for us. So I'm going to see if they could share a question so that we can go from there. Is there a question? If not, I know one of the questions is what are you going to do with the grant funds? So we got 3 new grants, and if you could give us high level what your vision is with the grant funding, John.
Well, when we look at career and technical education, we really kind of divide things into two big categories, and one of them is programs and the other is pathways. And so starting with pathways, pathways really are a sequence of courses that students can take in a particular industry area. For instance, in the arts, media, and entertainment industry sector, we have a number of pathways there. Students can study animation in a series of courses, or they can study film and video production, photography, digital imaging. Those are examples of pathways within the arts, media, and entertainment. And similarly, like for example, in the area of engineering, we have two pathways. One of them is an aerospace pathway and the other a civil engineering pathway. So students that have interest in those areas can pursue a series of sequenced courses that end in a final project, a capstone class, that really helps them develop technical and non-technical skills in that particular area to pursue further training and education after they leave high school, to pursue a passion that they have. In the area of programs, we run a number of different programs that just try to attract students by interest, so that they can then discover those pathways of sequenced courses in order to develop their skills. And a couple of examples of that would be, for instance, our esports program, where students engage in esports, and embedded in that esports program is a career exploration, learn more about the business, because it's not just simply writing programs that run game engines, but there's lots of different careers that are associated with the game design industry. And so they learn about that, and then potentially could enter into sequenced courses that are all around game production, game design, and game production. And that's really what we kind of spend the grant money on, developing sequenced courses, say, for example, in game design, which would then lead students into pursuing work and a career in the game design industry, whether that's going on to college and focusing on computer science as it relates to game design, or if it's going directly into industry with a portfolio of projects that you've worked on and working your way through that workspace.
Well, there's something that in working together, we realize we have some shared stories with regard to our background. So I know we talked about this recently with the grant that we actually just submitted for the Department of Education, a federal grant. Yep. And it's about being the first in our families to go to college.
Right.
And also, my family immigrated when I was 2. And I definitely did not know how to navigate much of college for sure. I tell the story about I didn't know what a valedictorian was until my friend became the valedictorian. And I didn't know people were vying to keep their GPAs up. I didn't know you could drop classes and manipulate your GPA so that you could be valedictorian. And they certainly did not. This is another thing we talked about, was how to navigate going to college or careers. And so if you want to share a little bit about your story.
Yeah, on my mother's side of the family, her parents immigrated from the Azores, from Portugal. I've told a story that my grandfather's second language, he spoke Portuguese, but when he came to America at the age of 18, the first language that he learned when he got here was Italian, because of the job that he got in an Italian roof tile making business in Massachusetts. And so my mother's side immigrated from Portugal and the Azore Islands. My dad's side of the family really kind of migrated from the Mid-South to California during the Depression after my grandfather had worked as a mechanic for 6 weeks and then didn't get paid and didn't have any income at all. They loaded everything that they had and came west to California in search of work. No one in either side of the family had gone to college or higher ed past high school. My Portuguese grandfather signed his name with an X. Did not have anything past, I think, a second or third grade education. And so going to college was an area that there were not a lot of navigation maps within the family for me to follow with regard to what it is that I did. So I was very dependent on what I learned at school and whatever interests, school employees, school officials would take in helping me sort things out and navigate to college.
I feel like we also have a shared passion about career exploration and what our lives might have been like if we had had some of the resources that we're hoping to make available, or that the grants have been able to help us make available to young people. So one of the questions I know the interns had were, well, what are some of the opportunities that have been made possible because of the various grants that Downey Unified has gotten over the years?
Well, a lot of the opportunities from the grants come directly in developing those career pathways so that students can begin to sort of formulate a dream about where they want to go. I oftentimes encourage students when I was at the high school to dream bigger and reach higher than you think is possible, because that really is kind of the foundation of setting you on a course to pursuing what you need to pursue in order to achieve those dreams and to reach goals that you set for yourself. And then there are plenty of people that really want to see you be successful in this field. They generally don't go into education because they go into education because they're interested in supporting students and encouraging students and helping them be successful. So the resources are there. I think for me, the primary push has been, rather than making resources available passively like many schools do, they're here if you want them, come and get them. Becoming much more active about delivering that information that then opens up opportunities to students directly to them, whether it's through a program like esports or a robotics club, or it's in a sequenced set of classes where they're learning skills and then start to ask questions, and those questions get answered within that pathway about what it is that they might want to pursue for the rest of their life in terms of a career.
And then this summer, we did something pretty unique as a collaborative effort. So we normally do a in-person internship program. So Bayha Group has worked with Downey Unified for the past 4 years in doing an in-person internship program. And so this last year, because of our quarantine, our pandemic, and actually, John, you and I talked about it really early on at the stay-at-home order. And I've been working at home for 20 years. And I remember calling you saying, I don't think we're going back anytime soon. And I feel like we probably need to come up with a plan, because we had hundreds of kids already signed up to do the internship, and we didn't want to let anybody down.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, do you want to say more about what we did this summer?
Yeah, I'd love to. On a personal and professional level, this was sort of, I don't want to describe it as a crisis necessarily, but in some ways, I was sent home from my job after working, almost 30 years in education. I was sent home to work from home on March 17th. And, I got home. I had all the technology pieces in place in terms of being able to connect by Zoom. I certainly didn't have the personal boundaries or the personal habits in place in terms of when do I start work and when do I end work in a particular day, and how does it not get all mixed up with everything that's at home because you're working from home. And then I think at not too long after March 17th, when I'm in this, my own personal reflection about, I haven't been trained to do this. I don't know exactly how to do this or how to sort this out. It dawned on me, one morning, where is it that we teach our students in high school or middle school the skills that are necessary in order to exercise, good judgment, self-discipline, organizational skills that allow you to be highly effective and successful working from home or working from a distance? And I had to really face in that self-reflection, that professional reflection, where is it that we teach our students those skills? And I had to answer that question: nowhere. We don't do it. We're in a whole new territory now. And I think it was about that time that we started talking about the work experience program. And we started to use this word of pivot. We needed to pivot to really address the current circumstances. And that is that people everywhere were beginning to have to, navigate this new setting of working from a distance. And so from there, we started to really reimagine what a paid internship for 11th graders going into their senior year might look like, and to leverage that opportunity to help them acquire skills that they know without a doubt will need to rely on in the future, because the future of work changed in March. Many companies are looking at this in terms of, how will work look like moving into the future now that we've been doing this distance approach for 6 months or so. This is certainly not true of every single industry. And certainly there are many people that are really struggling in those industries where it requires an in-person presence. And our heart goes out to those folks. But our students really need to be prepared for a new workplace and a new job environment that includes, maybe not exclusively, but includes the skills that are necessary to work from a distance.
Yeah, it was really an opportunity. It was really turning a situation that we were dealt with and doing something that just felt so rewarding every single day. I have to say, I'm so grateful that we were able to do it, because it was the light for sure for me with everything that was going on, being able to interact regularly. So when that happened, we hired 8 co-designer interns to work with us to do a prototype of what we were going to do, because we ended up with 180 interns. And that was just logistically, how do we do this in a meaningful, engaging way on Zoom where people feel heard and their voices mattered and that they were contributing in a way that really made a difference for them. And so it was great. We did daily surveys, we did some reflection journals. So we got a lot of feedback. And I mean, what was it like for you, just popping in and checking out what was happening?
Well, I was amazed at the level of engagement that the students exhibited in those meetings. I think we've all experienced in the last 6 months Zoom meetings that go really, really well, and we're excited, in Zoom meetings that are maybe in some ways a little bit soul-sucking, to use a common vernacular, I guess. I think that the way in which they were organized, students were given projects to work on, and then they were also afforded the ability to interact with professionals in industry that were doing real-time work, and really focusing on those skills that are really, really important when you're working on a project. And I think the self-reflection piece was really impressive to me too. Students by the end of the week were able to answer questions like, If you were your own manager, what advice would you give yourself in terms of having a better week at work this week? That's a self-reflective question that I think we could all benefit from in looking at it. But our students had a chance to really look at that question and quite a few others from industry perspectives.
Yeah, so we're getting feedback from some of the interns. So they had an amazing experience, allowed them to develop life skills. And that's really the goal. Reading that, hearing that, seeing that, it's the most rewarding work I've ever done, for sure. And that's the thing I'm most excited about with the additional grant funding, with this amazing relationship that we have moving forward, is just more that we could do. And I know we had, so there was a question. Just what goals do you have for Downey Unified for future? Well, it's more just in terms of implementing the grants that are, so maybe just, I know you mentioned it already, John, some of what we are doing with the grant funding, but maybe a little, we have the open source that was new, and as well as some of the more of the pathways between the middle school and the high schools. So, and just updating some equipment.
Yeah. I don't, from a specific standpoint, I think that a lot of those things still remain to be seen, but as an overarching goal, we're really interested in creating environments where students can discover their passions or have their passions discover them, because that happens that way sometimes, and something that they can eagerly pursue with a high level of engagement. I've oftentimes said, I'm not really interested in doing anything that's not going to make a difference in a student's life when they're 30 years old. And so that's really what we're in pursuit of. And if that means, working with industry quality equipment in a particular area that they're pursuing in the pathway courses, or if it's discovering something about themselves that they can work on and improve in order to be more effective communicators and planners and project managers, manage their own projects. All of those things are very, very important skills for students to learn, that they will carry with them long past high school, informing the pathways that they pursue.
Yeah. Is there anything you want to add?
I'm excited about being here and talking about the work, and very, very excited about what this next year will bring with regard to expanding the work experience internship program to more students. And also expanding our pathway offerings in the area of cloud computing and game design, as well as an audio-visual pathway that has certifications for students that want to work in the audio-visual field, which is expanding like crazy with not enough workers.
Exactly. It's such an exciting time. And again, I'm so excited that you came to participate on the live stream show today, John. Thank you so much. So next week, I'm going to be back on Thursday at 3 p.m. and it's Grant Getting with June. So we're going to be talking about tips with grants.gov because it's top of mind. We actually just submitted with Downey Unified a grant for the Department of Education, and the acronym reads as FIPSI. I don't remember what it stands for. And so anyways, we just submitted it. It's multi-million dollars. And it's again to continue doing this technology-based, what they call career exploration. We call it Work Wonder, as well as the Downey Made Work Experience. And so thank you, John, for being with us today. And oh, look, it's Andrea.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Thanks, John. Thanks, Andrea. Thanks everybody who who's watching. We're so excited that you're all here, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.